John, great win for your side tonight. You show a lot of character, but even more quality tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to take my hat off to Galway. You know, they pushed us all away. It was a cracking advert for Irish football. Probably not Irish football defensively, but certainly, you know, two teams going forward, two contrasting styles, but equally effective. And, you know, they put it on us second half. They were really good second half. They pinned us in, made good chances. We stood firm for large parts. And thankfully we took our chances, and we possibly could have took a bit more, which would have made it more comfortable. And then we had to do the yards and see it out, which we did. Some great last-ditch headers and tackles at the end. I'd like us to defend better. I'm not going to lie with that, you know. I'm not one of these ones who, it's all rosy because we've won 4-2. We can play better than that. We did play some good football tonight, but we were sort of masters of our own downfall, or architects of our own downfall, in the sense of that we give the ball away cheaply, and then we sort of let Galway play the way they wanted to play, and we sort of joined in that game, and we had to get away from that. We had to get the ball down. When we did, when we got more than 3 passes together, we looked a threat. But when we didn't, they looked a threat, and that's football for you. It was like a basketball game at the end. Not good for your nerves, but great for the fans. And I must say, our fans were absolutely magnificent. You could hear them all night, from the very first minute to the last. To travel this way, you know, we've done the trip today, and it's an absolute camel ride. And you know, for them to come all the way, that are their money in times of austerity, and to never stop singing for the whole game. A big thank you to them, and they were just as important as our players tonight.
Coleman Noonan opened the scoring, and he was just lit up the game. At times it was scrappy, but you could see the quality he has.
Well, Coleman, that was his best performance for probably 3 or 4 weeks, almost consistent. For the first 20 minutes he was unplayable. He was picking passes out that even I couldn't see. Nearly scored probably the goal of it would have been the goal of the season. The move and the shot just goes wide. And then, you know, he unselfishly starts to play the ball to Tommy when he should have maybe gone his own. But we need him back to his very best, and he was approaching that tonight. Because we need his quality, we need his ingenuity and his flair. And when you've got a flair player like that who can go with either foot, you know, and the cross he's put in for the 3rd goal is, you know, it's difficult to defend.
You touched on it a little bit there, but it went so chaotic in the second half. Like, you're looking at the goals, 73, 75, 78. You're really just wondering what's going to happen next.
Yeah, sounds like a trilogy though. Yeah, it was one of them things that whenever you thought you got your a foothold and you've got on top of the game, it quickly went away for both teams really. And you know, it was great to score early on in the second half. But then, you know, we sort of sat in and let them dictate the game. And on another day, they'd have scored more, you know. So we know there's areas to improve, you know, but we are climbing up the table, and that should give the players confidence, you know. And without, you know what, I've said this from day one, and I said it to the players today beforehand. Don't be looking for any excuses. You know, we've got to own whatever we do. We've got to take full responsibility for whatever we do. But I felt absolutely shattered from that trip today. So, you know, it must have really took out the players today. And to go the way they did right to the end, it's testament to the character that they've got. They're a great set of lads. I can't fault them, and that's why I said before the game, you know, we've got to be mindful when we add to this squad that the personalities are right, that the characters are right, that they're going to be treated the way they are. Because, you know, I'm not just saying it, but we have got a great set of lads who will work hard. They've got a good personality. They like a laugh and a joke, but at the right time. And they know when that they've got to knuckle down to hard work. They enjoy it when we try and play football. I'd like us to play a bit more.
Well, congrats, John. It's a long trip home for you, but 3 points will make it a bit sweeter.
Thank you very much.